Welcome to Stab the Dragon Productions for episode number 204. And this is a whiskey holiday edition. But wait, we're not doing whiskey today. It is National Margarita Day. Or actually, yesterday, February 22nd, was Margarita Day. Today is Sunday, the 23rd, and I'm a day late and $1 short here in Fort Worth, Texas, where it is currently 65 degrees and sunny. Tequila is now the #1 liquor in America. Vodka is #2. Whiskey is #3. The margarita is the top selling cocktail in America as well. Now, these stats are hard to verify because different sources are going to say different things. But I've read enough sources and actually heard stories on the radio that tequila and the margarita are now reigning supreme. So, my research points me all in this direction, but finding, any singular authoritative source is impossible. Now, I find this news unsettling because I'm a whiskey guy, but here we are. And at the private club that I attend, whiskey is behind beer, wine, vodka, and tequila, but ahead of gin and rum. So whiskey is dropping like a rock, it seems. Now, let's ask the question, though, what is tequila? I am new to this, and I'm curious. I had my very first margarita just a couple of years ago, so bear with me as I examine things from the ground up, the basics. Tequila is a distilled beverage that comes from the blue agave plant near the city of Tequila in the Jaliscan highlands in the state of Jalisco, Mexico. Mexican law states that tequila can only be produced from this region, and tequila is protected by law, much like bourbon can only be produced and labeled as such in America. So in other words, you're not going to be able to find an American tequila, even though, some varieties of this plant may grow in the Southwest. So the name tequila, that's definitely under Mexican law. So mezcal can be produced from other varieties of the agave plant from other states outside of that region. So if you see, mezcal, that's similar to tequila, but the production process I've read is different from tequila, and the plants come from a little bit different region. And what I've read is that the blue agave is actually easily affected by terroir. So that if it comes from in the same region, but if it comes from down the valley or in the highlands, it's going to be very different tasting from what part of that area the blue agave comes from. So you can get a lot of varieties with tequila, just like you can with whiskeys. Margaritas, then, are a cocktail that is based on tequila that includes some type of a sweetener like triple sec or an orange liqueur. In my case, I go for the spicy variety of Agalima, and this is a jalapeno margarita mix. And so I'm not sure if there's any orange flavor in here. I don't taste any orange flavor, but orange liqueur is supposedly, the basic version of the margarita. And I guess that's what triple sec is. Again, I am totally new to all of this. But the margarita cocktail's origin cannot be clearly identified. There are multiple stories that talk about how this cocktail originated, but when you read all these stories, you can kind of find the common denominators between them, and you come up with the baseline for probably the true story. So here's how it works. I think that this cocktail originated in the 1920s or early 30s because the first mentions of the cocktail are in 1930s. And there were some cocktail recipe books that actually had it in the 1930s. The origins seem to stretch along the U.S.-Mexican border from Juarez to Tijuana. And there is usually, of course, a pretty lady involved asking for a drink, and the bartender either makes a mistake or comes up with his own recipe, his own variety of the drink she asked for. And so it was different from what she asked for, but she loved the drink, and therefore it's amazing. And it immediately spread in popularity to other places. So today, as I said earlier, it is the most popular and widely sold cocktail in America, and is not limited to the southwestern states along the border. It's everywhere. Now, I don't remember when I first heard of this cocktail. I am reasonably sure it was the song by Jimmy Buffett that came out my senior year in high school, 1977, wasting away down in Margaritaville, right? And that's where I first heard of that cocktail being mentioned. But as far as actually kind of seeing it and being aware of it in a restaurant or bar situation, really not until we moved to Texas 40 years ago did I, and probably I wasn't even aware of it then, probably maybe 30 years ago is when I actually started seeing and understanding, oh, there's this drink called a margarita. And then I had my first one like 2 years ago. So the tequila that I currently have is this Jose Cuervo Tradicional Anejo. And Anejo means, okay, so silver tequila is unaged. Reposado is aged for just a little bit, and it's a little bit, silver tequila or white tequila is just clear. And then Reposado is kind of a yellowish color. But this nice brown that looks like a good whiskey, this is aged probably for no more than a couple of years at the most. And it is 80 proof, aged in New American oak and Irish single malt cask. Now that's an interesting combination. I mean, I get the American oak, but here you are drinking a Mexican liquor that's been aged in single malt Irish casks. Why not? And it's double distilled in a copper still. I got this for $32.99 at Goody Goody. It's a 750 milliliter bottle. And then again, the mix that I've got here is Agalima, also at Goody Goody, but I don't have a price on that. It wasn't much. I mean, this is, sugar water with some jalapeno in there. We used hand harvested organic ingredients sourced from the finest growers to create our authentic spicy jalapeno margarita mix. Jalapeno peppers premium lime juice. So this has got lime juice, jalapeno peppers, and then when I make mine, I add some fresh lime juice as well. But apparently there's no orange in that, and orange is apparently part of the basic margarita. But I've seen margaritas that have jalapenos floating in them and have peppers on the side. I used fresh lime juice. I didn't include a lime as garnish, but sometimes I do. This is actually quite good. Now, one variant that I have seen includes adding some Topo Chico to the drink. So here we go. Get a little fizzy bubbly going on in there. Topo Chico is my favorite drink of all time, I think. All right, let's see how adding a carbonated water. And you know what? That works. It watered it down just a little bit, but the fizziness is good. So, my first time for doing that. It won't be my last. All right, so again, happy National Margarita Day. A day late and a dollar short. This is Stab the Dragon out here.